Is Stalker Gamma 2 finally happening? It's been over a year since the launch of Stalker 2, and while everyone is speculating, I decided to stop guessing and go straight to the source. I messaged Grok himself to find out exactly what the future holds for the most legendary mod pack in the zone. This video is my interview with Grok on Discord. He's the guy behind the Gamma mod pack. We talk about the possibility of the sequel, new mechanics, and his vision for the future. Before we dive into the messages, I've pinned a comment with some of my recent uploads. Check them out if you're looking for a mix of atmospheric content and gaming oriented stuff. Now let's get into the interview. Hello there, my name is Lovro. I am a small content creator on YouTube. I'm also a huge fan of Gamma. I would like to ask you a couple of questions about the future. Do you have any plans to bring the Gamma experience to Stalker 2?
Hi. No, I won't mod Stalker 2 extensively.
Many people would love to see Gamma 2. What made you not want to mod it though?
Time.
Understandable. But since Stalker 2 uses Unreal Engine 5, wouldn't it be easier to mod than ancient OG Stalker engine? Also with the zone kit, isn't modding easier than before? I know it's limited at the moment, but with the future updates, the modding possibilities can be basically limitless.
Well, possibilities are already limitless with X-Ray. It's just a matter of time and proper planning.
I thought that it's pretty limiting engine due its age, but I'm not a dev, so I had no idea really. Could you maybe share some of the things that you're working on and plans for the future?
The engine is open source, so you can do whatever you want with enough time. You can make a RTS game if you want.
That sounds truly interesting. Considering the wide possibilities with the engine, what do you have planned for the future?
Armor rework, more weapons, weapons balance, barter economy, story rework.
Do you plan to add some new systems as well? I'm a big fan of base building, would love to see more options added there. About the story, do you want it to be more cinematic, story driven like Stalker 2? Or you have other ideas?
I want the story to be branching, with several paths leading to the same outcome, so not really linear in a way, with good replayability. I have everything planned already for the first 2 chapters, leading to a big reveal. These will be spanned over 4 different paths at the moment, depending on your choices and the leads you follow. From this turning point, several choices will be given which will influence how Chapter 3 is played, and which will have an impact on the ending. Multiple endings will be available. At the moment, I have 4 endings in mind, but more will probably come. The story can end at Chapter 2 based on your choices. Also, if you ignore delving a bit into the story and just follow the NPC's orders, you will have 1 ending. Unlocking more endings will require the player to think and test things.
You mentioned barter economy and story rework. But what about base building? Is it something you want to expand deeply, like making it a core survival mechanic, or will it remain a side feature? You have a lot planned for the first 2 chapters already. Is this something we might see in 2026? Or is the rework so massive that it's a long distance run for the next couple of years?
Hopefully, the story will be done by 2027. Base building. Yes, I want to build a bit more important features around it. But to make it more important, I think I need to make a system to free the player of mechanics proximity. And for that, I need to make an online ordering system through the base building laptop and desktop computers, with rules to prevent abuse. Can't have a computer in the same map as the trader, etc. Once that's done, and that the players can create bases anywhere, then I can start creating more features. I was thinking of using artifacts to passively generate resources, like but a snowflake artifact in a specific base container to generate water over time while the artifact gets slowly degraded. Same for meat production using meat chunk artifact, for instance.
Actually, 2027 sounds much closer than I expected for such a massive rework. Regarding the story, do you plan to include any cutscenes? Maybe in-game engine cinematics or something else like hand-drawn art or CGI?
No cutscenes. I prefer to have well-written descriptions and dialogues. Some artworks to describe the scene potentially. Think Pillars of Eternity interaction scenes with art and choices. This can be done using the current tutorial system actually. Not sure about the choices, however, within this system.
The online ordering systems open up so many possibilities. For example, it could involve courier missions. Maybe players could have a quest to rescue a courier who got kidnapped or killed while delivering ordered gear. The idea of using artifacts as passive resource generators is also a brilliant way to deepen the survival aspect.
Couriers relating to the gear is something to consider, but if it's too complex, it might just predate the system itself and nobody will use it. I was planning to simply have a fade to black and pass 1 to 2 hours to get the things delivered once you close the trading window.
On a different note, in some Stalker lore, we see stalkers with mutant pets. Have you ever considered implementing something like that into Gamma?
There's already a pet system for Stalker Anomaly. Nothing is planned for Gamma yet. I tried to stir away as much as I can from companions. In fact, the new story won't have companions with you at all.
Also, I've been thinking about factions. Do you have plans for more in-depth rank system where rising through the tiers reward you with unique faction-specific gear? Or maybe even the possibility of creating your own faction?
For faction-specific gear, this will be done through the barter economy system. Trade specific assets for specific faction gear like armors and weapons. It's hard to balance to not predate the classic Gamma progression, that's why I'm taking my time. I'm excited about what the modding community can sometimes come up with. Sometimes great stuff arises and it's shacking the concepts I have for Gamma, so it's always exciting to see what others are cooking.
That lone wolf approach for the new story sounds amazing for the atmosphere. Since you're reworking so much, are you planning to change how we move throughout the zone? For example, blocking certain northern territories until specific story milestones are met. Do we keep the Brain Scorcher mission intact? Or maybe introducing new hidden transition points to make the exploration feel fresh again?
Yes, the whole Miracle Machine and Brain Scorcher aspects will stay. The story will add few missions in the south. The rework will mainly touch what's happening after the Brain Scorcher, which is the weakest part of the game at the moment. First thing I want to edit is the boss fights to actually have challenging boss fights, a bit like the Living Flame questline. But the bosses will be even stronger and dangerous with wheel mechanics, invulnerability shields, anomalies spawn to protect the boss and push the player to move/dodge, etc. The idea is to ensure that the player builds every aspect of its arsenal and defenses to beat the challenges thrown at the player by the story. Currently, the biggest challenges are the Miracle Machine, the Brain Scorcher, and the CNPP raids. These will stay intact or be slightly adjusted, and new challenges will be added, namely the boss fights. The Mortal Sin and Operation Afterglow questlines will be removed to have a shorter and more impactful story matching the character progression. Because currently, by the time Living Legend is finished, the character is already at its full power. Making a shorter and harder story will also entice Invictus runs a bit more in my humble opinion, as it will be about careful plan and game knowledge rather than dying to stupid random situations or bugs, which currently end most of the Invictus runs because the 3 storylines are just so long and not really interesting to be honest.
Anyway, that would be all from my side for now. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing all these details. I'm sure the community will be absolutely thrilled to hear about the 2027 vision and all those new mechanics. So what's your take on this, guys? Are you disappointed that Gamma 2 isn't a separate project? Or do you think Grok's decision to keep expanding on the original Gamma is the right move? Personally, as someone who loves deep stories and survival mechanics, I'm incredibly hyped about the story rework, expanded base building, and the new utility for the artifacts. The idea of artifacts actually aiding your survival in tangible ways sounds fantastic. But what about you? Which of these changes are you most excited for? What would you like to see in the future of the zone? Let me know in the comments below. That's it for this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye. I'm also a huge fan. Huge fan. I am a huge fan. Do you plan to add some new systems as well? Do you who got kidnapped or killed while Hugo 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 Copter while 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 delivering their gear their gear while delivering while delivering